as well. And I'm also going to mute everyone. And here we go. Thank you everyone for coming. All right, so here we go. Remember, you can always unmute yourself if you have a pertinent question. I will stay around after for questions and discussion if anybody wants it. So just kind of sitting. And so what I want to say today about the core is that the core is from your pelvic floor all the way up to your throat, actually. And when we talk about the core, we're also wanting to not just deal with abdominals, but we're dealing with back muscles as well. So we're going to be exploring both today. So we draw them together, the back and the front, like a panini. We come into the midline from the sides, and the two hip points. I've been talking a lot about our hip points because we were working a lot on glutes and piriformis. The hip points draw together, and the lower ab lifts from the pubic bone up to the belly button. There's that scoop and lift. It's important that we think about lengthening when we talk about the core. So the body, the side body has to be very long. So as you sit here on your supports, so what I would like is your hips a little higher than your knees. So that's why we're sitting up on a block. I have some new people here, so I want to give you that detail. Move your fleshy tissue. Take your butt tissue and draw it back and away from your front body. And then feel those sharp points of the sit bones. You can even put your hands under there if you're not familiar. Feel those sharp points and push them in. And then we're looking for a neutral spine, so we're not looking for any rounding in the back. If you put your hand on your spine and the bones are all sticking out, that means that you're rounding in a C shape. And if you're too far forward, then you're hardening the lumbar, you're hardening the spine. So we want to find that neutral pelvis. Then we want to get space in between our hips and our ribs. So we want this lift of the rib cage off the hip bones. And then, as I did on Monday night, take your arms under your armpits, your thumbs, sorry, under your armpits, and lift the armpits up really nice and wide. So we're trying to widen and broaden here. And what I was saying on Monday night is that, you know, as we develop in our practice, as we practice more, there's more opening, there's more feeling of the width and the broadness of the chest, and that's really important for our breath, because everything comes down to how important our breath is to our body. I talked about breath being important for alkalinity, breath being important for stress reduction. The breath, you know, there's even a connection between, you know, the pain that you have in your right knee or in your left hip or in your shoulder and the breath. So if we can, for me personally, everything in my practice is about being able to breathe more fully and completely, be able to take more oxygen in. And just one more thing before we start, I want to talk about metta, which is basically loving compassion. So core work is hard, and sometimes we get down on ourselves because you know, our core is not strong enough, or we don't have a core, we feel, or we're hard on ourselves. And I talked about that on Monday night too. Please, 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 just be loving and kind to yourself. Do what you can do. If there's something that's not working, don't worry about it. You keep working at it. You keep practice. And remember, I talked on Monday night about how the hidden jewels, the jewels that are in the ground, we have to dig for them. And so this is your practice. And the more you practice, I read a great quote this morning about that Iyengar said about how the practice is really what is important. It's not the final pose. So having said that, let's just take 1 minute or so to get into our body. We're sitting nice and tall. We're lengthening through the back of the neck. We're lifting up through the top of our head. We're drawing the chin back and just letting the neck be soft. You know, if you can think chin, but you can also think like the front of the throat goes back a little bit. And then we lean back almost like we're sitting in a chair, because we want to be on those points of the sit bones. You can be on the back of your sit bones, you can be on the front, or you can be right in the middle. And then the sit bones are really sharp into the block or into whatever you're sitting on. And then just close your eyes. Let your shoulders relax. Let them draw away from your ears. When we're tense, we tend to have them up to our shoulders. and connect first with your physical body, so sense and feel. And today in my meditation, this was my feeling, and I'll just share it with you, this little personal nitpick. But I felt like all the time that I was growing up, I was a very sensitive child. I cried a lot. I was, emotional. And I felt like my whole childhood people were telling me, not to be that way. Stop crying, you're such a crybaby, blah, blah, blah. And now, as I'm an adult, definitely through yoga, or more emotionally balanced, but also I just don't cry as much. And I'm more what I would call unruffable than I used to be. So welcome, new people. We're just sitting and breathing. So this is the shift that happens in life. Now I'm going back to really wanting to connect with my emotional side and really discover what I am feeling and realizing that it's okay to be emotional. It's okay to be sensitive. I care. I'm able to open my heart. Whereas before, for a long time, I felt like, because people were telling me my whole life not to feel things, I was kind of staying in my own little bubble. So anyways, having said all that, we're connecting with our physical body. We're then connecting with our breath and trying to figure out what is happening with our breath this morning. How do my inhalations, my exhalations feel? Feel and sense the movement of the body with the breath. Is there rib cage movement? Is there chest opening? Is there chin, nose action? Can you feel sort of the waves of the breath? When we think of a baby, they're breathing with their whole body, and there's this gentle rocking feeling. We're just connecting the breath and the body now and becoming centered and present in our practice. This practice is for you, not for me. Well, it's for all of us individually, is what I'm trying to say. And after your next exhalation, bring your hands to your heart. Just have a sense of gratitude for the practice today and for us being here this beautiful sunny day. Grateful for our bodies, however they are, our minds, our spirit, our breath. Feel the energy resonating between your palms, with your hands touching. Link that energy all the way through your body. And then slowly open your eyes and drop your hands to your lap. Excellent. Okay, so we're going to start by lying down. And like I said, if you have a block, the block works great. If you don't have a block, then you can use your blanket. You're just going to have something between your knee and your hand. Okay, so we're just making connections here. Okay, this is all exploratory. So if I'm going to use a blanket, I'm going to take my blanket on my knee, and then I'm going to put my hand on my knee. So we're starting with same hand and same knee. Okay, and if you don't have anything, just do this. Hand and knee works without anything. If you have a block, use a block. So I'm pushing. The other leg can be up, by the way, or you can extend it out. Doesn't really matter. We're keeping the natural curves in our spine, so you don't have to do anything to the core. So when we're doing our core work, what I want to say to you, if you're used to gyms or the old-fashioned kind of way, you would round the back and flatten the curve in your back, but we're not doing that. We're not flattening the curved back. Okay, So here we start. You can have a pillow underneath your head too, if that makes you feel better. We're going to push our left hand into our left knee or right hand into your right knee. It doesn't really matter which one. And as you do that, I just want you to see what are you feeling? Sense and feel. Feel your leg and your arm working, but also do you feel any kind of core engagement? Okay. Knee is right over the hip, ankles in line with the knee, hand is pushing in. And then exhale, release. All right, and we'll change legs. So again, the other leg, the opposite leg can be up or down, it doesn't really matter. Push, hand into knee, knee into hand. Again, yes, you notice the muscles of the hands and the arm working, but do you notice any kind of core engagement? And you can try this with the block and without the block. There's a little bit of a difference in intensity, I think. My block is very spongy, so it makes a difference. So I definitely feel my core working there. Okay, and then exhale, release. Just extend the legs out a bit and come back up. We're going to do opposite hand to knee. So I'm going to take my right hand on my left knee, and I'm going to push knee into my hand or block, and I'm going to push the hand into the block. So again, this is counteraction happening. Both hips are level on the floor, pushing in, engaging the core. Feeling now maybe a connection between my left hip and my right shoulder in this work. Breathing and feeling, releasing and letting go. And let's do the other side. Left hand to right knee. Left hand to right knee, left hand to right knee. Again, you can extend the left leg. Do what feels right for you today in your practice. Also, if you ate a huge breakfast, you might feel a little different in terms of core engagement. So, contracting, feeling maybe from the left shoulder now to the right hip. Good. And then exhale and release. Okay. Roll over onto your side. Come on up to all fours. But actually a little bit of a mix today in our practice. There's kind of like, this is mostly traditional kind of poses, but also a little bit of exploration as well. So come on to all fours. Have the wrists slightly ahead of the knees. Make sure that you're pushing through the knuckles of your hands. Okay, so you have many rows of knuckles. You want to push into those. Make sure you're particularly pushing into the knuckle of the thumb. And we're going to make the same actions happening. So it won't look like very much on the video, but here's what we're doing. We're going to take our left knee and our left hand, and we're going to isometrically, in other words, we're going to pull them towards each other without really moving, and we're going to see that core engagement, what's happening. Are we getting the same feelings as we had lying down? Also, make sure your back's not rounded like this or dipping down too low. Have that neutral spine, the natural curves in your spine. So I'm dragging my left heel back and my left knee towards each other. And I definitely have some sensation there, so I'm going to release. And now we'll press our right hand and our right knee towards each other. Feeling that action. And then you probably guessed we're going to do opposite. So left heel of the hand and right knee. Try to draw them in towards each other. Drawing them in, drawing them in, drawing them in. And what happens there? No movement in the spine. Just sensing and feeling what's going on. Now we'll do left knee and right arm. Good. And then exhale and release. Now let's take both arms, both heel of the hands and both knees, and draw them towards each other without changing the spine, without rounding the spine. Just drag towards each other. See what you're feeling, see what's happening. Good. And then exhale and release. Now, I want to do a few cat and cows. And as you do your cat, which is this rounding of the back, draw your hip bones in and lift your lower pubic bone. And just doing that in case anybody has any tensions in your back. And then when you do your cow, don't let your stomach just drop. Keep this mild, nice sort of core engagement, and just work a little bit, dropping the tailbone and lifting the tailbone. few times, just releasing and experiencing. Good. All right. So we're going to come back to that in a minute, but in the meantime, I want to focus on this lengthening of the side body for a second. So I'm going to sit in Virasana. Now, if you cannot sit in Virasana, just sit on your legs. Virasana is when you take your hands into, if you can see here, my hand is in the inside of my leg. I'm pushing down and I'm drawing the calves back, flattening them, and down out to the sides of it so I can sit in between my legs. If you, I'm going to turn to the back so you can see that. Okay, if you cannot reach the floor with your sit bones, feel free to sit on a block or a blanket or a pillow. Okay, this is not, I'm working the thighs a little bit, but this is really more about this side body long that I want. Okay, so now you're going to take your hands, interlock them, turn the palms out. If you were with me on Monday night or even last week, I think talked about how we bring the inner elbows in towards each other and we pull the wrists away from each other. So try that as you inhale and come up, pushing up towards the ceiling. Get really nice and tall. Get lots of space between your hips and your ribs. We want this length in between all our poses, today. When we're talking about the core, make sure you're not overarching the back. You're in neutral spine. Your lower abdomen is engaged. Hip bones together like a drawstring pant, and lower abs from the pubic bone to the belly button. Like your pants are too tight and you have to lift them up. All right, now exhale, bring the hands down. Change whatever fingers on top to the bottom. Join the thumbs, push out through the knuckles, bring your inner elbows together. Make sure, again, you're not drawing the shoulders up to your ears. You want to draw those down and inhale and lift up. So we're getting this length through the side body. You know, and be flexible with yourself. Play a little bit. If it feels good to move a little bit from side to side, if you're feeling like you woke up a little bit tight, you know, you don't have to be rigid in any of the poses. You can explore. It's why yoga can be fun, or it can be really like not fun because you're just feeling like you can't experience your body, and that's not good. You want fun. All right, and then exhale and release, and bring your hands down to your side. So now we'll come into sort of Virasana on the floor. If you can, again, if you can't, just sit on your legs and do like more of a child's pose idea. So I'm going to prepare my legs again by drawing the calves down and flatten them and draw them out a little bit so I can sit in between. And then I'm going to walk my hands slowly forward, keeping the tailbone down, which is the hard part, especially when you're sitting in Virasana. A little easier if you're sitting on your feet. You want to slowly walk out, and we want this leg. So keep your breastbone up really nice and high. Look up, even if you can, for a bit. And then slowly walk forward, walk forward, walk forward. Then, only then, when you have that leg, drop your head a little bit. And in Virasana, so it's a little bit different than being in child's pose. You may not find that you can go as far. Feel the connection of your calves and your hamstrings. Squeeze those together. Feel the inner thighs and draw them back towards the tailbone. Breathe in, experience your rib cage. Remember, this is what we're, the side ribs. See, as you breathe in this pose, can you extend side ribs? And then walk your hands back, come out of Virasana. So always after Virasana, I like to do Dandasana. I like to extend. You know, you're sort of squeezing the legs, and now I want to extend them out. So sit, and you can sit on a block or a blanket if you have a very rounded back. Move your fleshy tissue, extend through the heels, draw the kneecaps up. Make the legs very heavy and weighted. You're drawing the legs down to the floor. Now we're going to inhale, lift your arms up over your head, hook your thumbs in together, pull your thumbs apart. So as if you're like, you know, they're hooked on my fingers so they won't come apart, but I'm trying to draw them apart. Do the same thing with your feet. Push through the balls of the feet and the heels, and then try to asymmetrically draw your feet away from each other. They're not hooked onto each other, but you get this idea of trying to widen and broaden through the sit bones. As you draw the sacrum, the lower back, and the belly together, you're making that panini feeling. And get really long. Good. And then taking your hands down, but not undoing them. You'll see that one thumb is closer to your face, the other one's further away. And change the hook the other way, and we'll inhale and lift up again. Get really nice and long. Good. And then exhale and release. All right. So coming back down on the floor and having something soft on my head. You can have something soft if you like to. And then we're going to come down, lying on our back. And we're going to bring our knees into our chest. But here's the thing. What we're going to do is we're going to keep this natural curve in our back. So I'm not rolling my pelvis this way and lifting the tailbone up to the ceiling. I'm keeping my weight on my sacrum. I'm going to grab my knees. If you can't grab your knees, for some reason, some people shorter arms, shorter legs, issues, what have you, just use a strap. And what I'm doing is I'm pulling my hands back from my knees. So my knees are up here and I'm pulling my arms so that my shoulders rest on the floor. Hope that makes sense to you. My knees are trying to go away from my head. My hands are resisting them. And again, just sense and feel that core engagement. Good. Now I'm going to take my right knee. I'm going to hug it into my chest. And as I do that, I'm going to straighten my left leg and take my heel right away from my head. So I'm really getting a lot of length in my side body as I'm holding my right knee into my chest. Not too, I don't have to, again, I don't want to rock my pelvis towards my head. I want to keep on my sacrum. I want to keep that natural curve in my low back. I'm engaging my core though. I'm bringing my back muscles up towards the ceiling and I'm drawing my belly muscles down without changing my back. Okay, now this may not be everybody's way of doing forward, but this is fine today. Okay, so try to follow along. So you might be feeling right already that something's happening there. Your foot is extended. Now I want you to lift your foot slightly off the ground, just like 3 to 4 inches, your left foot. And you might feel even a little bit more core engagement there. Breathe through this all as well. And just sense and feel what's going on. Right. Bring that leg back up towards your chest and take the right leg and extend it out. Again, did you rock your spine towards your head? Keep pushing through the right foot. Keep that neutral spine. Feel the connection of your back and your front body pushing towards each other, pushing into that midline so that you feel that panini action. I say panini because the panini machine squishes everything together, right? Or I used to use the expression a lot, peanut butter and jam. Okay? When you put peanut butter and jam together, you can't get them apart. So then lift your right foot off the floor. Feel those hip bones coming together. Feel that lower ab lifting. Good. And then exhale, bring that leg back. Now we're just going to do this 6 times, so 3 on each side. We're going to, if you have back issues, if your back is hurting you, keep your heel on the floor. If you don't, you can lift your leg off the floor just 3 or 4 inches. And as you move from one side to the other, you just keep your foot from hitting the ground. Okay, but if you are feeling any kind of back pain, or then that means that your abs are not strong and your back muscles are doing the work, and we want the core to do the work here. Okay, so as I shift from side to side, so if you do have back pain, just stop and have a rest. Just wait, and we'll just be moving on quickly to the next pose in a few seconds. Okay, so I said 6, 3 on each side, but I did a few more than that. That's what happens when I talk a lot. I get to do more. Okay, So next, we're going to do some leg circles. So I'm going to lift my left leg up, and I'm going to start doing some very small circles. As if I have, you can point your toe, it's like you have a magic marker on the end of your toe, and you're trying to point, make some tiny circles, and then you're going to go bigger and bigger. And as you go bigger, please don't like lift your hip up. And again, there should be no pain in the lower back. Engage core as you do this. Just going around. My circles seem like they're more like half circles, but I'm going to try to make a full circle here. Okay, so you then, when you get to your maximum range of motion, then you're going to go back the other way. Reverse the direction and go back. So you're probably saying, well, what does this have to do with my core? But you actually have to use your core to keep the hips from rocking. And also remember, everything in your body is interconnected by fascial tissue. So that's why our breath and our knee or our hip are related. Okay, so now I'm going back to a very little circle, and my leg feels really tired, so I'm going to drop that leg down. All right, so now I'm ready for the other side. Lift my knee up to my chest, take the foot up towards the ceiling, point my toe, start on a little circle, going one way, whichever way you want, and I'm going to let my circles get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger until I'm at my full range of motion. So, I always talk about in class too, if you're feeling a lot of clinking and clunking in your hip, then that means you need to not go so big, go small. Go as small and just stay in that range of motion without that clicking and clunking. Okay, so, and like I said, sometimes what you're feeling is the actual femur bone in the hip socket. Sometimes what you're actually feeling is a tight psoas rubbing against the leg. Okay, so how do you differentiate? It's hard to do that without professional help. Okay, and then I'm going to go the opposite way. So I went to my range of motion. Now I'm releasing the opposite way and making my circles smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller until they're really, really, really tiny. And then I exhale, drop that leg, and just relax. Okay, so push through the balls of the foot and the heel as if you're pushing into a wall. So your toes should be pointing towards your head. Your heels are pushing into an imaginary wall, or if you have a wall, feel free to go there. The balls of your feet are pushing through there. Now, we're going to inhale and lift our arms up over your head. I want you to do the same thing with your fingers, with your thumbs. Interlock them and be pushing away from each other, trying to spread them apart, but you're not going to let that happen. Then inhale and lift your arms up over your head. So again, if arms don't go over your head because of pain, then you don't go there. So I know there's one person in the class today having some shoulder issues. Don't go into pain mode. Okay, that's not where we want to go. You want to feel stretch. You want to feel a little resistance. You want to go to where you can extend to, but you don't need to go into pain. See if you can get your arms up over your head. Keep pushing through the balls of the heels. Keep this core engagement. Don't ruin your neutral spine. Don't push your mid back down towards the floor. You should still have that nice little space in there. And then exhale, bring your hands back down. Turn, again, change your thumb so the one that's on top is on the bottom. We'll go again, pulling the arms apart, inhaling. When we do this pull of the arms, it engages the shoulder blades, it engages the arms, and it helps us lengthen through the sideways. Draw your fingertips as far away from your feet as possible. And exhale and release. Come on back down. Great. Exhale and release. Okay, we get to stay lying down for a bit more. So, knees are going to come up, not up towards our chest like this, but they're going to come up so that knees are in line with our hips. We're going to squeeze the knees. Sometimes I actually put something in between there. I've got a rubber ball handy. It doesn't matter what you put out in there, but it helps me sometimes just keep that engagement. And take your arms out in line with your shoulders. And we're going to go from side to side. So I'm going to slowly bring my legs down to the left. I want to keep my shoulder blades on the floor. So if I only go this far, that's as far as I go. You do not have to go to the floor. There's no rules here. This is your own practice, your own body. So I want to keep both shoulder blades grounded. So I'm just going to come back and forth. The brilliant thing about this, which is why we like yoga repetition, and the more we practice, the better we get. We will go down a little further each time, especially in the morning, because we always wake up with a little tighter fascial tissue in the morning, and muscles seem a little bit tight. So the more we work, the better we are. So I'm coming down from side to side, squeezing my ball, trying to keep my knees in line as much as I possibly can. And then come back to center. So again, what is it? What are you feeling now? All right. So part 2 of this is that we're going to bring the knees up again. And this time, as we come over to the side, we're going to come. So I'm coming to my left side here just to show you. And then I'm going to extend my right leg. I'm going to push through that right leg and tip my toe on the floor. And then I bring my ankles back together, come back up, and I'll go to the other side. And don't worry if you shift a little bit on your mat. It happens. Sometimes, in between, you're going to have to, realign your spine a little bit. Okay, so now I'm going to go to the other side and extend that top leg. I'm going to put it right into my fireplace. Okay. I think it's not hot. It's just a fake fireplace. And then come back. And then I come over to the left, extend the top leg, point my toe, push my toe as far away from my hip as possible, come back. All the time keeping your neutral spine, extending to the other side. And again, I'm looking for at least 3 on each side. Maybe you can get a few more in. Remember, you can always watch this on tape later or on video, and you can stop it and do more. Okay? And then we release, and we come to the other side. So, come back. Now, place your feet on the floor. Again, we don't want our backs to be hurting here. If your back is hurting, it means the core isn't engaged, right? So, we have to be really careful. Just do less. Go into maybe some just lying down Tadasana in between if you're having trouble coping with the practice today. Okay, so now I want to try one more thing. So we're going to take our, and in class I always say one more thing, it means one more thing. So knees come up towards the chest, we're going to straighten the legs out. And now what we're going to do is we're going to draw our legs down slowly towards the floor. So I'm slowly drawing down. I notice in my video here, I'm going to move back because my feet aren't touching, they aren't in the video. I apologize for that. Okay, so here we go. Knees to the chest, lift the legs up, keeping my neutral spine, engaging core, and then I'm going to slowly draw the legs down towards the floor and slowly back up. So now again, if your back is hurting, okay, do one leg at a time. Bend the knee, that one knee, and just do one leg at a time. Or even hook your hands a little bit under the pelvis. If that causes you to rock, that's not the answer for you. But, sometimes just having a little support underneath the back helps. Remember, we're doing core work here. It's hard, and I don't want you to feel like you only do 2. That's not great. Anything helps. You can grab the edges of your mat too. Sometimes that helps to keep the spine neutral. Anyways, I'm bringing my legs down and up. Now, if you are a core master, and this is like easy for you, hard to imagine, but if it is easy for you, then what you can do is lift your hips at the end of each lift. So you come down, you bring your legs back up towards the ceiling, lift the hip up a little bit, and then release. Okay, that about did me in. Okay, so Come on over to your side, come up to sitting. So next we're going to work a little bit towards, we're going to do locust pose and a little bit of chaturanga, a little bit of plank. So we were on all fours before, so we're going to go there again. And we had that idea of isometrically drawing the knees and the hands together and lengthening through the breastbone. So just before we do that, just to warm up our shoulders, let's go rock a little bit back and forth. See if there's any tension that we're feeling, and see how far you can get your hips back, your heels, while still keeping that neutral spine. So in other words, not rounding the spine like this. That's not what I want. I just want to keep neutral spine and see if I can draw the hips back. Time flies when we're having fun, that's for sure. Okay, bring your hands out a little bit more forward than your shoulders, even more than you had them before. And I want you to come down to lying down, but I want you to come down in one piece, okay? So, by the way, when we draw the heel of the hand and the knees together, you're gonna feel that core engagement. You wanna keep the sides of the waist long. You want it, this helps to activate the shoulders. Okay, now, as we have this activated core, hip points together, lower, I'm gonna come down the floor in one piece. Okay, so what I'm not doing is like rounding or doing some kind of wave thing. It's one piece all the way down. And your hands will be somewhere around your rib cage at this point, okay? So now we're beginning to think about Shalabhasana, which is locust pose. And we're gonna start with just lifting the upper body. So when we do this work, it's not our head lifting. It's our upper chest. It's our chest and our shoulders and our upper back muscles doing the work. Okay. So push your tops of your feet in, particularly push through push the big toes, extend them away from you, push the little toe into the floor. Give me a little bit of cramp in my foot. My feet.
Excuse me,
then,
Suzanne.
Draw your hip down.
Suzanne, Kathy's iPad isn't muted and her phone just rang, and so we can hear.
Oh, okay. Okay, so 12:30?
Okay, so let me just mute again. Thank you for letting me know. Mute all. There you go. I think everyone is muted now. Thank you for letting me know that, Chris. Okay. All right, here we are back to our Shalabhasana. Okay, so hopefully that works out well. I hope everybody can still hear me. If there's any questions, let me know. Okay, so we're back down on the ground. And like I said, we're lifting with the chest and the upper back muscles. The feet are grounded, the legs are heavy. Hip bones are pushing in, pubic bone is pushing in. Draw your elbows away from your head. That draws your shoulder blades away from your head. Exhale, and on the inhale, lift your chest. Your neck should be feeling free. Your head is in line with your spine. Okay, don't turn like I'm turning to look at you guys, even though you're not there. And you're gonna lift up, lift up, lift up as much as you can. Feel those back muscles, feel the connection of the shoulder blades. Draw your hands and your feet together. Isometrically draw them towards each other. Squeeze into that midline or to the middle of your yoga mat. And then exhale and release. Let's do that again. Keep the head down until you get the shoulder action, the upper back action. Feel the firmness of your upper back muscles pushing into your body. Whenever we lift, it's always the front of the body is trying to lift up and the back body is resisting. So we have some action there, right? All right, and we'll lift one more time, just the upper body. We're not doing the whole pose quite yet. Draw shoulders away from the ears, elbows towards your feet. That helps you get there. Lift, 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 and then exhale and release. Whew. All right, now we're gonna lift the legs up for our third time. When we lift our legs up, we lift from the inner thighs upwards. Inner thighs lift up, okay? Inner groins, you could say. We're gonna exhale. Inhale, lift. Lift the legs up as well from the inner thighs. It's like your inner thighs are coming up before your outer thighs. Big toes are coming up before. The buttocks tissue is drawn towards your heels. And then exhale and release. Yes, let me just reinforce that for this next. We'll do this one more time. So buttocks tissue, all your buttocks, you can take your hands back there for a minute and just push it down towards your heel. That is the direction that your buttocks is going, towards your heels, okay? Generally, you don't want our butt to go down towards our heels. I have hardly any butt. Okay, so we're going, here we go. Start with the upper body. Lift, lift, lift. Lift your legs up from the inner thighs. Inner heels lifting up. Buttocks tissue towards your heels. Should be no pain in your lower back. Engage your core. You don't push your belly into the floor. You draw it away from the floor. And then exhale and slowly release. And then you can pop up again. Come onto all fours. And just experience a few cat and cows. I really felt my back muscles working there. And because I've been sitting a lot at my computer and working a lot, meeting at night, I feel like my back muscles are not working that much these days. So I'm turning them on here. I'm getting them to work, which is going to be awesome for my back. Okay, good. Now, again, if you don't have 2 blocks, or you can use some books. If you don't have 2 books, use 2 pillows, use whatever you have, a blanket. We're gonna put one of the blocks here, and the other block is gonna go on our chest here, okay? And we're gonna lie down on them. So that's what's happening. So I'm gonna take my blocks onto my yoga mat. I'm gonna place my hips there, my chest, my sternum, or even if you want to go, yeah, I think I'm going to go a little bit lower into my ribs. So I'm putting the block a little lower, okay? And I know for us females, the anatomy sometimes gets in the way, so just do the best you can. Okay, now I'm going to let my head drop to the floor. I'm going to take my hands to the side of my body. I'm going to curl my toes in. And what I want to do is just isometrically lift myself up off the blocks. I'm not actually going to go off the blocks. I'm just going to have this feeling like my front body wants to lift. I'm going to draw my toes and my hands together. So that's just like what we did at the beginning of class. We brought the heel of the hand and the knees together. So you can do that again. Just draw. Feel the engagement of the core as you do this. Push everything together. Lift up the front body. Resist with your back body. And then exhale and release. You should feel work going on in both your back muscles and your core, okay? If you don't, just try it again. Sometimes, don't forget, especially those of you who are new to yoga, we're not quite in our body yet. It takes a lot of years to be really into your body and really be able to sense and feel. So that's what you said, metta, loving kindness, kind to yourself, just recognize that this will come. The more you do it, the more you're going to sense and feel. Okay, so my toes are curled under, and my knees are on the floor, and I'm going to push my hands towards my feet up towards my hands. I'm going to feel the core engagement. I'm staying in neutral spine. And then exhale and release. Okay, we're going to add in the leg action next and try to lift slightly off the block. Now, the other thing I want to tell you that is, even if you're not getting this whole practice, just by resting the block on your abdomen, on your lower abs, you are inviting the receptors in your belly for serotonin to turn on. And so you're going to feel happy for the rest of the day because you're going to have a nice shot of serotonin, the feel-good hormone. So that's the sort of benefit, even if you're not able to lift off the floor. Okay, so here we go. The head's down. Hands are at my side. So first I'm going to engage that upper body just like we did in Shalabhasana, locust pose. I'm going to lift up and engage draw my shoulder blades back. I'm going to get this idea of my feet and my hands pushing towards each other, and then I'm going to lift my knees off the floor, engage my thigh. So if all you do is this is awesome. Inner thigh comes up, heels come back, lengthen through the front body. You want to keep them length. You're not rounding the spine. And then just see, can I lift? Using that action, can you just lift off the block just a little bit and then come down? Just lift off the block and then come down. That's all, just a tiny little bit. Okay, that's good. Come on out. So we want to keep all those engagements, all those expressions of the pose as we come into our plank pose. So we're going to do full plank. If you want to, at home, do forearm plank first. You know, when you redo this class, because they don't even do it a million times so often for our body. And then we're going to bring our breastbone forward. Okay, so think knees and heel of the hands pushing towards each other. Extend your left leg, push through the heel. I've got a lot of action happening on my left side of my body now. I haven't really added in much into the right, just the heel and the knee pushing together. But then as I lift my foot up, I'm going to push through the heels, lift the breastbone forward. The front body is drawing up towards the ceiling. The back body is trying to come down, but the front body is resisting. That creates that nice panini action, right? Heel of the hands and feet squeezing towards each other. Okay, so variation, keep knees down. You don't have to lift the whole body up in plank. Variation, plank with on the forearms. Okay, so and hold for as long as you can hold, right? Remember, we want the firmness in the arms as well. So you're pushing through the knuckles of the hands and squeezing everything together and seeing if you can hold that plank. And exhale and release. Okay, well, what would a core practice be without Navasana, boat pose, right? So let's try that next. So again, if you have sensitive tailbone, you feel free to take a blanket and spread it out on your yoga mat for a little bit of softness. But if you don't need it, you don't need it. Okay, so you're going to come down to sitting. All right, I'm breathing hard. I don't know about the rest of you. I'm using my energy as I'm talking too. Okay, so I like to hug underneath the knee and lift. Now, by the way, we're going to come back down. So have enough room behind you so that if you go into low boat, you're not going to hit your head on something. I'm going to actually skedaddle a little bit further up. Okay, so then with the nice neutral straight back, I lean back. I want to be on the back of my sit bones. And I'm going to, I think you can't see my feet in the video, but I'm just got my toes. Should have moved my whole thing back a little bit, so I apologize. I'm going to move, I'm going to just touch my toes. I'm going to keep the breastbone lifted. I'm going to engage my arms so the shoulder blades are drawing in, lifting up the upper armpit and getting my panini going. So the back of my body is coming forward, front of my body is going back without curving the spine. I'm not in a C shape. Okay, I'm nice and straight. And then see if you can take your arms out. By the way, variation. I've got back issues, my back is sore. I'm going to come down here and do the pose this way. Okay, I do not have to. I'm going to turn sideways for you guys. I do not have to go all the way up. Okay, nothing is mandatory. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to go sideways. So see there's my toes. Okay, I'm leaning back, engaging core. Then I lift my toes off. I extend my arms up. I'm not running the upper body. Want to keep the breastbone up. Keep that length that you had in Dandasana. And then inhale and lift your legs up. Take the arms out. Okay, now when we go to low boat, we're just on the sacrum now, and your eyes and your toes are in line, and then you can lift back up again. All right, you want to try that again? Extend, arms out. By the way, you're looking forward. I'm just looking at the camera so that I'm trying to pretend I'm looking at you, and then come back. Okay, let's try it one more time. So again, if you're doing a variation, go ahead. Here's the variation. Extend, hold, keep long in the body. And then exhale, draw the knees in and release. Okay, beautiful. So now we're going to come back down to sitting. I like to sit on a blanket. We're going to find Dandasana again. Take your hands behind you this time, though. Push your hands into the floor. Lift up. Get really nice and tall. Lift your breastbone up. So again, I want to work this back and belly muscles coming in, our front body and back body. It's not just the belly button, even at the sternum. I'm making this action happen. Push through the balls with the heels. Get really nice and tall. Good. Exhale, release. Oh, I hate it when the time goes too quickly when we're having fun. Okay, so we're lying down, pushing through the balls of the feet. So every time I'm doing this work, I also want to do extension, right? And then hook your thumbs together, like we did before. Inhale, draw your arms up over your head, get really nice and long. Push through, get lots of space. Keep the rib cage down. There's this tendency to lift the rib cage. I do it myself all the time. Keep that rib cage down. Keep extending, pushing through the thumbs, trying to draw your thumbs away from each other. Exhale, come on back. Woo. Through the other thumbs. Inhale, release down over your head if you can. Remember, only go in your range of motion. So if you get stuck or you feel clinking or clunking, then you stop, okay? There's no requirement to go all the way. You have to be ready to go all the way. All right? Emotionally, spiritually, physically ready. Draw the outer armpit together. Exhale and release. All right. Turn over onto your side. We're going to come back into Dandasana one more time, but this time we'll start in Dandasana and then we'll lift the legs and draw them away from each other. So we'll start in Dandasana. Staff pose. Inhale, we'll lift up. Good. Exhale, bring your hands down. Take your legs really nice and wide. Okay, again, we want neutral pelvis. We want knees coming up. We want quads engaged, and we want the quads pushing down. Make your legs really heavy. Look at your feet. Are they in that, what we call a point flex? You're pushing through the ball of the foot, you're pushing through the heel, you're really super active in the legs and they're drawing down. You feel the sit bones. Remember sit bones, when we were sitting, I was talking about how the sit bones can become sharp. So you're pushing the sit bones down. You're not on the back of the sit bones like you might have been in Navasana. You're not too far forward, so you don't even feel the sit bones. Those of you who have that rib thrusting, extension bodies, that, you know, good for you, but you got to find the neutrality in the pose. Okay, and then we inhale, we lift up, we get long. Take the thumbs, interlock, get really nice and long. Undo, do the other way, inhale up again, get long. Good, and then exhale and release. Okay, oh, I want to keep going. I'm gonna do a couple more things because, but if you need to leave at exactly 9:30, you could go into Shavasana now and you can just fine. But those of you who want to hang out with me a little bit longer, let's grab our belt and do Supta Padangusthasana. I'm doing a little bit of a different variation this morning. And by the way, I put on my notice that I do have 2 belts, types of belts for sale. They're just pink and blue. That's the only thing that's different. Those of you who have a home practice but you don't have a belt at home, these are amazingly good belts, and I do have some for sale for you. Okay, so we're coming down to lying. The different variation that we're going to do is we're going to turn our left foot and we're going to walk, not turn it, sorry. We're going to step our left foot to the very edge of the left of your yoga mat. Okay, so this leg now, this left leg is going to be on an angle. And then we're going to bend our knee, put our strap. I always like my strap near my heel. Okay, That's where I like it. It's not wrong in the other areas, but I get more out of it when I put it on the heel. Okay, and then what we're going to do is bend the knee towards the shoulder, and we're going to slowly extend this leg into full extension. Remember, when we extend the leg, it's the kneecap drawing up towards your hip and your quad engaging that opens up the knee. You don't push the knee back, not good for the knee. Okay, and we're going to breathe into the pose. We've got our foot active, our leg active, and this left leg that I've got on the angle, it's also extending, and it's really super, super active, and I've got neutral pelvis. I still have that space in my back. The pushing of my left foot out to the corner of the mat is actually what's keeping my back nice and neutral. Take your hand, your left hand up to the floor, and now we're going to take this right leg over to the side. Now, there'll be a tendency for your hips to want to come off the floor, but you're not going to let them. Draw your hip bones together, engage your core. Take the heel out to the side, take your foot towards your head if that feels good for you to get the nice inner groin stretch. Your pelvis should feel like it's splitting in two, and both sides of the sacrum are still on the floor. You're not shifting, you're not letting, if you watch me, you're not letting that lift up, you're staying down, okay? Remember, this is not a contest. Nobody can see you. There's no prizes for getting your leg to the floor. That doesn't matter. What matters is what you are feeling in your body, what you are experiencing. How is this changing you? You know, I talked on Monday night again about how yoga changes us because we do the practice and we just think it's about the physical, and the next thing you know, we're changing mentally as well. Okay, now keeping that leg to the side, take your left hand on your left thigh and draw your foot towards your head. Okay, now your back you're gonna lose that space in your back. You're no longer in neutral pelvis for a second, because what we're gonna do is draw the hand down the thigh and lift the upper body off the floor. Make sure you're safe in the head here in the neck. So if you're not, you know, you can either grab your hand or just skip this one and then exhale and release. Bring your left leg in. Slowly draw this right leg down, and you're good to go. We're good to change to the other side. So I'm going to split my strap onto my left heel, then my knee towards my chest. Now, this time, I'm walking my right foot to the right side of my yoga mat. So my right leg is on an angle. I know this is not your traditional pose, but it's good. We're opening the pelvis after all we did on the core. So I'm slowly straightening my leg. I'm straightening my leg by drawing my kneecap towards my hip, by engaging my quad and push it back. I'm pushing through the ball of the foot and the heel. Feel the hamstring, okay? This counter action, this engaging the quad is what opens up the hamstring. And remember last week we did this pushing of the hip. You can go back and watch this in the video. Oh, actually, I think that's the one where I have to redo it. But we took our hand in the hip and we drew the hip away from our head to keep the side body long. So again, when we're working core, we want to keep the side body long. Okay, so I'm taking my hip away from me first. Then I'm taking the leg over to the left, extending my right arm, keeping shoulder blades on the floor, and I'm opening up through the pelvis. It feels divine. Now on this side, I have less control. So my right hip wants to lift, but I'm not going to go as far. I'm just going to stay here. I'm going to keep pushing my right hip down into the floor, engaging my core, hip bones together, lower ab coming up, pushing through, pushing through, pushing through. If you engage the bottom of your leg, where your IT band is, the outer side, you're going to get more of an opening in the inner thigh, which is really nice. If you take your foot up towards your head, you're going to feel a lot of action in the hamstring there, okay? And then exhale and release, come back and draw your legs down to the floor. And we're ready for Shavasana. Good work, everyone. Okay, so remember in your Shavasana, if you're new to me and you haven't done this before, take your hands, bend your elbows, push your elbows into the floor, roll your shoulder blades in so they're close to each other and they're like pancakes on the floor. I'm gonna go through a lot today. And then let your arms come out. Okay? If your back is sore here, bend your knees, hug them a little bit into your chest, or walk, do a little side to side windshield wiper. And then come back to neutral and extend. If you feel anything in your low back, that might mean that you need to tuck the fleshy tissue, your buttocks tissue, down towards your heel so that you put space in the back. You're not again hardening the lumbar. So feel that, experience that, make sure you feel comfortable. Shavasana is like the princess and the pea. If you are experiencing discomfort, in the pose, you're not going to be able to go into full relaxation. And that is what we want. So resolve. Take whatever you need to make yourself feel better. Maybe you need to put something underneath your knees after today's practice, like a blanket or a bolster if you have one. That towel or your set of books. All right. I always only get about half what we want to get done, but I think that was a pretty good practice today. So now we go back to the beginning. Go back to sensing, feeling, releasing, letting go. Letting go of everything that you are holding onto. Stress, tension, crazy thoughts, negative emotions, ideas about ourselves that aren't true. Let go of tension that you're holding in your lower body, your legs, feet. Let go of the tension that you're holding in your upper body, your chest, your shoulders, your jaw, your face, your tongue. Often we are holding on to tension, especially in the face. You're at home, you're safe. No one is watching you, observing you. Just totally let go. Let go of any holding that you're doing of the breath. You may not even realize that we are stuck somewhere in a cycle of inhalation and exhalation. Now that's not, we recognize that there's a small pause. A pause is not the same as a hold. So we inhale, we recognize that pause, and then we exhale. Before we inhale, we recognize that pause. And it's not the same as holding or restricting the breath in any way. Now, because we did core work today, I'd like you to take a minute to just focus on your belly. Let your belly be soft. Ask it to be soft. Ask your belly to let go. As you let your belly go, do you feel any difference in the breath? Bring your awareness to your rib cage and feel the expansion of the ribs out to the side, front, back. Shavasana is the most important pose in this practice. Like true meditation, where you will often not only sense feel what's going on in your body and your mind, but it's often where the revelations happen. Connection. So that next time you work on the core, you've already got this sort of pre-knowledge. You go into pose and go, yeah, I remember that. I remember what that felt like. Connecting to the whole body now as a whole. It's like feeling the whole body, breathing, moving, expanding and contracting, getting heavier and more weighted as you relax, feeling the connection of the floor, the connection of that breath, the body. Soft and pretty. Oh, beautiful. Now we'll come out of our Shavasana by just wiggling our fingers and our toes a little bit, stretching our arms up over our head, pointing your toes and flexing your feet, and then bringing your hands down with a great big audible sigh. Like that. Good. And then taking the hands up towards the ceiling, again, pointing the feet, flexing the feet, and then big sigh as you exhale, and dropping the hands back down to the floor. Slowly bring your knees up towards your chest, roll gently from side to side across the sacrum, left, right, roll over onto your right side. Turn your chest towards the floor when you're ready, and there's no rush, by the way. You can hang out here for quite a bit, not going anywhere. I'll be hanging out after with you. So roll over to the side, push your hands into the floor if you're ready to come up. Roll that vertebrae by vertebrae so that your head is the last thing that actually comes out, and now you come to sitting. You're ready, and bring your hands to your heart. I felt like that was a really lovely practice, so I thank you so much for joining me. Enjoy the feelings of my body, the senses. Let's honor the divine within, and so grateful for the day that we have, and I think the whole week is supposed to be nice, no rain. So I'm so grateful for that. And bow your head. Namaste, everyone. I just have one thing to say before we come out. A very good thing to do is get a ball about this size. This is a Courageous ball from Jill Miller, but you can use any kind of a kid's ball. Go to, I saw them at the dollar store. I saw them at Walmart. The dollar store was recently, Walmart was a long time ago. And you're gonna put that ball underneath your belly, lie flat down, facing down, face down, and massage your belly. It's so good. It releases a lot of tension, tight connective tissue. It's good for your pelvic floor. It's good for that serotonin release. Makes you feel really good. If you can't lie down on your stomach for any reason, you can go to the wall and kind of push up to the wall like this. This is basically the action you're doing from the pubic bone, from hip up into even the rib diaphragm area. That's where you're going to go. So that's my advice for you for the weekend. I'm going to come and unmute you all and stop the recording. Anybody who has any questions, anybody wants to stay after and chat with me, I always like to do that. I like to hear what you're feeling. And so here we go. I'm going to come and do that.
They are going
Let me just do the recording next.